All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is a lesson to go with your reading passage for one of your reading passages. I am going to be looking at I Double Dog Dare You. The purpose of this tutorial is to go over the section here involving adjectives. Adjectives are words that or phrases that describe a noun or they describe a person, a place, or a thing. And so, oftentimes when we think about adjectives, we think about adjectives that describe people, objects, the way you feel, the size, time is a good one. Things like where you are from, and also, there are some more trickier adjectives out there. These adjectives have names, and these adjectives would be called demonstrative adjectives, distributive adjectives, and something that we call articles, like the word the. So looking at these types of adjectives are a bit trickier. And, I think that for our purposes, we just want to be aware that adjectives are more than just our descriptive words to describe something, people, places, things, your feelings. And they do include some more technical types of words. And so you can see that the word this, that, those, these, what these types of adjectives do is they simply identify the noun that is being spoken about in a particular sentence. And the same thing with these adjectives here. So which adjectives are being talked about, or in this case with neither, neither, which adjectives, or excuse me, which nouns are we leaving out in a particular sentence? And then we have the technicality of the word the. The simply identifies the noun that we're talking about. The is an article, but articles are considered a type of adjective. They define a noun, meaning that they select or indicate a particular noun, not necessarily describing it with our classic describing words. Now, what this does is it opens the door for us to just go crazy on the adjectives that we are going to identify within I Double Dog Dare You. So let's go ahead and get started. I am going to really focus on the adjective aspect of this passage, as well as get you started with the vocabulary that is in bold print words. So at this point, go ahead and pause the video. If you have not yet read this passage, remember you want to read this passage 3-4 times. That's why they're so brief, and we want to treat it as a workout. So go ahead and pause the video and come on back. Welcome back. All right. So as I went through and I looked at some adjectives, I decided to use a yellow highlighter for you guys to be able to um, follow along and see the adjectives that I'm locating. So as I'm looking, the first adjective that I see, here's our technicality here, right? The right is that article that's considered. Please go ahead and identify that. But next to it, you also have a classic describing adjective, the coolest teacher in the entire school. So we also have the adjective entire. A good way to identify an adjective is to first identify the nouns that are in this case, in the passage or in the sentence. As I continue down, looking for more describing words, I am finding that I found a noun, homeroom, right? This is the classroom that you go to at the beginning of every day, starting in, well, in this case, in fifth grade, usually in middle school. But what homeroom is it? It's the fifth grade homeroom. And so we can continue on. I'm looking for another noun, and I find another noun here. I find reasons, right? What reasons? The main reasons. And here we can also include the into the category of an adjective. Now, I don't want you to overcomplicate this by meaning by the time you get to the end of the passage, you've got every, that, these, this, they, the, a, highlighted. We really do want to look for and begin to simply recognize the more classic adjectives describing nouns. So we have the main reasons, right? Then we have this sneaky adjective, amazing, as it is not tied directly to a noun, meaning that it's not right next to it, but it is describing Mrs. Woodall. So Mrs. Woodall is what? She's so amazing. Okay. As you are going to continue going through this passage, don't forget to look at some of the bold print words that also may be adjectives. Brainstorm is a verb, literally is a adverb, flinch is a verb, unanimous and outrageous are both describing a noun. So the noun here at unanimous is decision. So what kind of a decision? A unanimous decision, meaning everybody participated, everybody wanted to, everybody agreed with a particular decision, unanimous. We decide some outrageous thing. The thing is a noun, and outrageous would be its adjective to identify. So in review here, as we decide, as you begin locating adjectives independently, please do remember that we do have these demonstrative and distributive adjectives and articles such as the and a, right? To locate a few of these as you are reading the passage. Okay. All right. So now moving on to the vocabulary portion, we are to write down the bold print words that are in the passage. And the first one that we come to is brainstorm. Get this camera angle right for us so that we can see. Brainstorm is the first bit of vocabulary that we can use, some context clues, right? Some words, phrases that are in the sentence that has the word, before the sentence that has the word, after the sentence that has the word. The context clues don't just have to be in the sentence that has the word. The next word is outrageous. And the third word is literally. Literally is an adverb describing the verb watched. The fourth word is flinch. And the final one is unanimous. Because I've already focused on the word unanimous in talking about adjectives, why don't we stick to unanimous when talking about context clues and vocabulary. So we're going to start with the sentence itself that has the word. Go back to the beginning of the sentence, find that capital letter. When we got to the dare part, it was a unanimous decision that Mrs. Woodall should shave her head if we reached all our goals, right? So this passage is all about this teacher, Mrs. Woodall, who has their class set goals for themselves as a group and individually as well. And if they achieve them, well, in this case, they made a unanimous decision. When we got to the dare part, it was a unanimous decision that Mrs. Woodall should shave our head if we reached our goals. Now, in this case, I see, shave her head if we reach all our goals. I mean, that's a context clue telling me that, if everybody reaches their goal, the decision's going to be that she shaves her head. And knowing students and children, this tells me that everybody was excited about this particular decision. Let's see if we can find another context clue as well. Let's read the sentence afterwards. She says we'll have to read 200 books and then she'll do it. So a unanimous decision means a decision. Well, she'll do it after they read 200 books. So shaving her head, she'll do it if he reaches the goal. Let's see if we can find any context clues for the word unanimous in the sentence before. We decided our reading goal would be to read 100 chapter books as a class this month. So as a class, right? So as a class means the whole group, right, is going to achieve this goal. When they achieve this goal, it's a unanimous decision that she's going to shave her head. She says, we'll have to read 200 books. So we can use all of these clues, right? You achieve a goal, you're going to be excited. Once you're excited, you've made this decision unanimously that Mrs. Woodall is going to shave her head. I would come to the conclusion that the word unanimous or unanimously means every. And this is my wording. This isn't Webster's definition. Okay. Everybody agrees. Everybody shares an opinion. So based on the context clues that I've underlined here, I came to the conclusion that unanimous means everybody agrees or everybody shares an opinion. 100% participation. Everybody, 100% participation. Right? So go ahead and do the same thing for flinch, literally, outrageous, and brainstorm. All four of these words also include some life experience, I'm sure that you have. And so part of context clues is not just the context clues that are within the sentences surrounding or that contain the word, but also your personal experience that you have, whether hearing it, saying it, reading it, writing it. Can all be part of how you come to your particular decision. Okay. You have your comprehension questions here, some prediction questions, main idea questions, going along with thinking about the key details within this passage, much like benchmark unit 7 in the lessons where we are gathering key details to create a main idea. So we can kind of work backwards here for question number 1. Meaning you can find a main idea that you want, and then you can go back and try to support it with as many details as you can. Number 3 is asking you to describe how the class feels about their teacher and a trait, right? Thinking about your doodle loops, character traits, right? How can we best describe Mrs. Woodall? If you were making a plan to write this story, what trait would you give to Mrs. Woodall based on what's already been written? All right, then you have contractions, plurals, and 4-syllable words. All right, ladies and gentlemen, good luck. Enjoy this. And remember, this is an activity for you to read multiple times, as it is a great exercise for you to um, keep your reading brains working. All right, boys and girls, you guys take care now.